My journey of leadership started actually in 1992 when I was the Registrar of Finance of the university. So when Strathmore University and Kianda College came together to form one college called Strathmore College, and later on the milestone of 1998, where we started expanding our physical status here at Strathmore University. There were very many people involved in that. There was Professor David Sparling, there was Dr. Charles Swords, there was Dr. G. McPhee, there was Dr. Joseph Sabila, there was Ms. Dorina Telaide, there was Constance Gillan from Kianda, and myself. And we were negotiating how we can grow from the 5 acres of land to a reasonable 50 acres of land, which we managed by the year 2000. All right, but the journey started around 1997-98 to amalgamate that. In 2001 to 2004, I had moved from finance and administration to becoming the director of the School of Accountancy. That was a watershed moment for me because it gave me a moment to reflect on the type of leadership in the market. We were dealing with finance and accounting students who spread all over in every institution. And I realized that we are not reaching the highest level of leaders and they need to change. So in 2004, I resigned from my position as director of the School of Accountancy. And a watershed moment, again, I asked the management of the university if I could start a business school. The understanding of what I was starting was that it would be a master's postgraduate program, but really I didn't even have a PhD then. I just had my master's programs. So I was looking at them with trepidation. But anyway, I told them, yes, I will do it, but I may not run a postgraduate school. What I want is simple, a place where businessmen can dialogue and take programs to know how to develop their business capability, expand their businesses, and therefore bring in jobs. That was my initial model, but we started with also drafting the MBA program. And I was part of the team that did that. And so the moment in 2005 when I realized I had hit some jackpot was when I went to the IESE Business School, which belongs to the University of Navarra in Spain, and they agreed to give me advisors. Then I used the alumni to form the advisory board. And therefore, on 31st March 2005, we formed the first advisory board of the business school, made up of people like Baroness Linda Choka, the then CEO of Kenya Airways Titus Naikuni, the then CEO of East African Breweries, then Guinness PLC, who was Gerald Mahinda, Professor Terry Ryan, who had served as the Secretary, Kenyan Economic Secretary for a very long time, and then 2 professors from Yese Business School and 1 professor from Harvard Business School. So that was the first advisory moment. To put them together gave a good face of what a business school should look like from a point of view of success. And so the business school was started with executive programs. Our first program was the Advanced Management Program, together with IESE Business School. 60% of the faculty came from IESE and 40% from Strathmore. And then in 2007, we started the MBA program, again, as a conjoint program with IESE Business School. That was one of the biggest things I had done in my life. I didn't know that that little idea of training leaders would arrive so soon, but it did. And in 2008, it had taken traction, the school was stable, and I decided to do my PhD, and which I finished in 2012, all right, and I got a second master's to boot because of that. I needed to do it in something other than in business. I needed to understand my African environment. Then the other major watershed moment was when I came back, and that second master's degree, which was a master's in governance and culture of institution, helped me calibrate the idea of the Institute of Public Policy and Governance. And so I called then Robert Mudida, who later on became Dr. Robert Mudida, and we worked together to see what content we would put for a modern public policy practitioner and a management practitioner. And then, so at the same time, I joined together with Professor Stephen Samod from University of Pennsylvania, Wharton Business School, and we developed the MBA Healthcare Management Program, which was somehow taking the Institute of Healthcare Management that I had started back in 2007 as a corporate social responsibility to run our healthcare institutions well. So here now we had an Institute of Public Policy and Governance and an Institute of Healthcare Management in 1 year, 2014, which was just amazing, undersigned by the new master's programs that would take care of a wide analysis of policy across the globe and so on and so forth. We are now members of NASPA in North America, and we are members of BAM in the healthcare industry. NASPA is an accreditation body for North American schools of public administration. And we said we need to mark ourselves with the best of the best. So that's why we became members. As we became members of the European Federation for Management Development, now it no longer uses that name. It's called EFMD, and its accreditation name is EQUIS. And then we have the American side, the AACSB, which also admitted us as members, but not accredited yet. The accreditation process is usually a very difficult issue, which we started about 5 years ago. But we realized if we have to be accredited as a department of the university, that wouldn't work. So now we started the watershed moment of bringing all the departments of the school that relate to business to start working towards an international accreditation system. Why? Because you want global citizens to come here, all right? Now the latest babies are the Agribusiness Innovation Hub to show people how to develop value addition on agricultural goods. And the last baby, which is very crucial, is the Water Innovation Hub, Innovation and Governance Hub. Quality assurance of water is very fundamental. Yeah, there have been beautiful things happening. Like every good Kenyan, you must have a hustle. And my hustles have been around building companies that can be sustainably managed to feed the social economic systems that are very important. The insurance company, Patches Insurance Company, PACIS, was given to the bishops, Catholic bishops of Kenya. And that company, which I participated in the development of, gives its profit to the schools of the dioceses and to hospitals. So I didn't do it for my own shareholding. I don't have any shareholding in it. And then there are some agricultural companies, there's some company secretarial work I do, chairs, there are some NGOs I work in. Yeah, so you always find a little bit of time left to do something beautiful on the roadside. And then finally, this watershed moment. I am leaving the university as a dean. I am going to become a senior faculty. And the whole idea is that I can now take the ideal of what we have built here in the business school to the counties. So over the next 10, 15 years, I want to just work in giving our counties a center where many people can come to understand how to do business, to get their businesses supported financially, and to get business information that will be helpful for them to build markets, to run their businesses in proper governance structures, to understand how to produce efficiently, and so on and so forth. So that's what I want to emphasize on. We call it the Kenya Small Business Development Networks, which we are centers which we are building in the counties. And that's a really exciting moment for me, because now I'm leaving Nairobi, although I'll remain as a senior lecturer, to go to the people and start developing them where they are. Yeah, it's very exciting for me. I have a sort of sense of pride of my people, my African people, my Kenyan people, my village mates, those people who make my life. There are many times I thought about it and I decided Well, I have to give back, having this great hereditary gift from my forefathers and those who fought for independence and those who have developed schools, all the teachers I've gone through, the dedication of my parents, of my relatives. Somehow I felt, well, after being given all that gift, what do I give back? And I've done all these things I'm telling you to give back, really, not to make my money. I've never really felt I needed that much money to survive, all right? I can't drive 2 cars. I can't sleep in more than one bed. I can't sleep in 2 houses at the same time. So I have enough to take care of my daily needs, health and education, and friendship. I play golf. Well, the rest of the time I have to give it to others. What else, isn't it? And the more I see people becoming sustainable economically, the more I mentor them and coach them on their daily lives and see them transformed, stable, happy families. The more I see hope in the eyes of the Turkanas when we talk about the Golden Valley Cooperative for the Turkanas and Pokots. I met a dead town, Kapedo. Now it's a vibrant little village with all the youth very excited about developing a livestock marketing cooperative called Golden Valley. And all because I went there and I sat with them and I told them, hey, there is another way of doing pastoral work, pastoralist work. And I spent there 8 days, and yeah, it's when you see people change, when you see people lighten up their eyes with hope about the future, when you see people get out of poverty. It's very hard to get people out of poverty, especially poverty of mind. But when you see it happen, you're happy you did contribute something little to that. Yeah, and you don't do it for them. You have to do it for a greater good, which I think I normally place it in God. I do it for God. All right? I do it for God. If I make you happy because I've introduced you to a better life, I don't expect you to pay me back, because you'd never pay me back for what I have done to you. All right? But God can, if He wants to. And that's what I believe. So if I am going to go and do good, I don't do it because people will praise me or I'll get power. No. I go there to be part of the life of my brother and sister whom I see in need. Once they have started growing, I am not God. God will help them go forward. I just want to be a little envelope that delivers a good thing, and then let God continue His work, all right? Yeah, so I do it for God. If my brothers and sisters are better off, thanks be to God.